Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's Headmasters blog. It is Friday the 14th of October, and somehow we find ourselves at that point where in just a few hours' time we break up for a fortnight's half term. It feels as though the term has really only just got underway, doesn't it? But nonetheless, this is an opportunity for us all to pause, reflect, take stock of what has gone well, and set some priorities for the 6.5 weeks that are going to be very busy upon our return. There are lots of exciting things to look forward to, not least fireworks, and then obviously everything to do with Advent and Christmas when we move forward to December. But it is, I think, a really good opportunity just to reflect about what sort of priorities the boys and girls can look forward to, achievable marginal gains that they can try and undertake each and every day in that second half of the term. Today we also say a very fond farewell to Sue Lucas, our fantastic study centre secretary. Sue joined the Kingswood House team in 2003, and to put that into perspective, that is the year that many of us of a certain lineage were celebrating England's inaugural Rugby Union World Cup success. And Sue joined the staff here as an LSA. 5 years later, she became the study centre secretary and has never looked back. Sue is one of those people who underpins everything that is good about Kingswood House. She has a real people skill set and is the glue that holds everything together in what is a very busy and popular hub of our school. She will be sorely missed, and I wish her well on behalf of all of us here as she enters that new chapter of her life. And I think the aspiration is for her to spend some time with her grandchildren. So I'm sure she'll have a very happy time. There's been a good handover with Kelly Bishop in this first half of term, and Kelly is under no illusion. She has some big boots to fill, but we wish her well, and I'm sure she'll be absolutely up to that task. Please ensure that you have looked at the email that should have arrived in your inbox earlier this week with our Kingswood House parent questionnaire. This is a really good barometer for us to ascertain parental support and also to inform future development plans. It will only take a very few moments of your time, and the more people who take the time to complete it, then obviously the more credible source of evidence we have to pool and to discuss how we move forward. And equally, given that we are very likely to have an ISI inspection in the second half of term, it is long overdue. One of the first things that the inspection team do is ask us as a school to send out a questionnaire on their behalf. Some of the questions will correlate very much with our own questionnaire. That is intentional, because obviously we want to know what you're thinking and try and mitigate any concerns, and as I say, also to make sure that we've got the calibration of support in place, because that questionnaire for the inspection team is very important evidence. They will look at it and determine what parts of the school they want to particularly zone in on when they arrive, and obviously the more support and the more positivity that we can engender from our parent body, the better in terms of the outcome of the inspection and the report. So you as stakeholders play a pivotal part in that process. So this is a little dress rehearsal for you, and I would ask you all to take a couple of minutes to undertake that questionnaire, if you please. In the meantime, you'll see from the newsletter today, there is an abundance of wonderful work taking place here at the school, both in and out of the classroom. It will help the boys and girls grow in confidence and self-esteem. It will help them with their learning. It will help them have ingrained values that will help them for life beyond the school gate. And that is, of course, what we are all about. There are lots of things to look forward to, as I said at the outset. After half term, we welcome parental involvement, especially in the social events that the Kingswood House Association are organising, and I very much look forward to seeing you in and around the school at some or all of those in due course. In the meantime, it really only relies on me saying a very happy birthday to Mr. Farmer, who turns 50 tomorrow, and our very best wishes to Miss Wilson, who gets married over half term, and she will return as Mrs. Angus. So in particular, we wish both of those members of our staff team a very, very happy occasion for their birthday and their marriage respectively. And a big thank you in general to my teaching team and support staff. I hope they have a well-earned rest and recharge their batteries over the half of term. Our mentions in dispatches for this week. Well done to Olivia in year 1, being very organised with her homework, completing extra reading. George White, well done for your maths. Ted Ramsey, really good work in spellings. Leonardo Antiquides for resilience and perseverance. Now, Leo, I have heard about this from Mr. Clark and Miss Forbes, and I'm very, very pleased with the progress you are making. Please do keep it up. Well done to Leo Dublique for his litter picking and eco club. Torin really showcasing the value of respect this term. Hugo Hawksley, Cameron Edwards both got a commendation for their English. Alex Marshall-Kester being very focused in his lessons, says Mr. Barrett. And Max Kenner, really good work in PSHE on the very important topic of discrimination. Ava Dangerfield, Rufus Jesmond, Chris King all have shown really good endeavour this term, says Mr. Hendry. George Wood has done some excellent calculations. Tristan Bush has been helping the drama production, giving his full attention to rehearsals. Jack Guiney, his prep for French, making his own shopping list was impeccable. That's good to hear. Good word as well, Mr. Rizaling. Alex Hayworth, when marking his book, Mr. Rizaling was so impressed with the level of detail and effort that Alex has put into his writing, as much high-level vocabulary as he could muster. So well done and keep that up. Ethan Boll was the unsung hero of the under-13 side in their impressive win against Tower House. They won 3-2. He was calm and composed on and off the ball and contributed to the game in a very impressive way. And Mr. Mitchell was in attendance at that match, and as a former director of sport knows his stuff. So well done, Ethan. Oscar Elam, well done for showing resilience, says Mr. Jackson. Oliver Fry, kindness in helping to clear up the classroom, says Mrs. Bray. Ollie Fry, again, nominated for his geography work. Thomas Hickman, some excellent geography work from you recently. And Mrs. Weston's very pleased with 8L in RS. And Mr. Mitchell would just like to commend all of the under-13s for some of their results in this first half of term. They did really, really well. And Tower House are normally opponents who get the better of us, but it's fantastic on this occasion to turn that around. In the seniors, Ethan Shee's been working hard during study periods, using his time productively. Shay Chalia has also been extremely independent with his preps. Sam Carroll, a lot of extra effort in mathematics. And Ethan and Sam nominated for your efforts in science from Mrs. Black. Lucas Staple-Sheesby, well done for excellent verbal responses to questions in English from Mrs. Bray. And Ibrahim Mohammed asking good questions to Mr. Jackson in ICT. Avanish Gunjal, Harry Lation, Ed Collins were public speaking finalists this week. Well done, says Mrs. Lindley. Isaac Gahir, Liam McBride and Ian Shafiq have also shown great business and enterprise acumen in their Life Lab course. Well done to you. Dan Pepper has made really good contributions in PSHE this week. Charlie Leonard, really good reports on what they got up to in Berlin in form time. Henry Sweetman and Rory Slater, well done for always being polite and showing good mutual respect. Ben Hubber and Turani, well done for giving up your time to help a mentor DT club as part of their Duke of Edinburgh Silver Award scheme. Really good to see you being role models, says Miss Patel. And thank you to all of the Year 11s on the Berlin trip. Their behaviour and engagement was superb, reports Mrs. Hornstetter. Equally, Mrs. Weston enjoyed having a number of boys from Year 11s join the class during that Berlin trip week. Ali Al-Rabai, Marcus Glenn, Joseph Rasif, Anthony Minnick, Follow Ayeni. The group gelled really well. Ian Abdul, well done for answering a really good number of questions as a non-history GCSE pupil, but he still has a passion for the Cold War and 20th century history. Thank you, Mr. Sickday, for that. Chris Hawkes, he's been working really hard in his geography since returning from Berlin. He's been very, very independent and asking for help and guidance when required. Really good motivation from you, Chris, and I heard excellent reports actually as to your maturity on that trip, so well done to you. And equally, Mr. Sickday, I would like to say well done to all of the senior prefects. They've stepped up in this first half of term, being very proactive let's see more of the same in the second half of term. So it remains really only to wish everybody a very restful and relaxing couple of weeks ahead. Yesterday there was a superb public speaking final. You can read all about it in the newsletter. I'm sure that there will be a good report in Mentions in Dispatches as well upon our return. But in the meantime, thank you to Mrs. Bray for organising it, to Mr. Austin, Mr. Sickday for adjudicating. Well done to all of the finalists and indeed everybody who participated. It is one of our showpiece competitions and I am absolutely thrilled, particularly as an English teacher by trade, that the standard seems to get better and better year upon year. That is fantastic to note. Have a great weekend, have a super half term, and we look forward to seeing everybody back safe and sound on Monday, the 31st of October.